Hello, welcome, my fellow operatives. My name is Taft Taylor, and this is the Nemesis Sessions. My guest today is a guy who I know pretty well. I've known him over the past at least 3 years that I know from the promo wrestling world, and he's also one of the greatest commentators involved in Battlefield Pro Wrestling. My guest tonight is the one and only, the Rhinestone Cowboy, Icarus Haxen. Icarus, welcome to the Nemesis Sessions. How are you, man?
Oh, it's been a pain in the ass to get me here, but I'm finally here, and I appreciate having me on, Taff. I appreciate it.
Definitely. Looks like I hear you, but I think we're doing that thing again where you're a little bit choppy and stuff. That's okay. I'm pretty sure. There you are. Look at you moving now. Look at you.
I'm there.
You got the little extra stuff you had. I'm going to get right into it. I like to do this with my guests, so that way the audience is familiar with who they're seeing, who they're listening to, and who they're talking to. But can you tell me who Icarus Haxen is? Tell the audience who Icarus Haxen or the Rhinestone Cowboy. Who are you, and how are you involved in the wrestling world?
Well, honestly, it's quite simple, man. I'll make this short and sweet. I'm a father of 3 children. I'm an engaged man. I have a good significant other that deals with my bullshit. I'm a dreamer first. I like to say that I'm a dreamer that became something that he always wanted to be. I always wanted to be in the pro wrestling world, and I scratched and clawed until I got there. So I'm just a dreamer that made it, man.
Hey, that's all that counts, definitely. Kind of like the same thing with me, but I mean, I started watching it when I was 3, and it was all said and done from then on out. You know what I mean?
It's been a lifelong goal since I saw it first.
What was it like when you first started watching wrestling? Who was on there? Like, did you have any favorite wrestlers growing up, and what product were you watching?
There was nobody better than the Macho Man Randy Savage to me. I think the first time I ever saw Randy Savage, I was instantly gratified as a kid. I was like, this guy is the guy. This dude right here is everything I want to be in my life. He's got everything. He had the first woman of wrestling on his arm. He was better than Hogan in every way. It was definitely Macho Man. And I would say Sabu is probably the second one that got me into wrestling.
Sabu, yeah, I liked him a lot for sure. I could tell with a lot of some of your promos and stuff that I've seen. We can get back into that here in a little bit, but there's a lot of your stuff I've seen where you got a lot of inspiration. I could tell through Macho Man, and who doesn't love Macho Man? He's freaking amazing, one of the greatest to ever do it in my book.
Yeah, screw you, Hogan. I will say that it's Macho Man's world. Screw you, Hogan.
There you go. Some of the stories that Hogan tells are a little bit bogus. I like Hogan, respect him. He's one of the greats, but sometimes I hear him tell stories, and then I'll hear him tell the same story, but in a different way. I'm like, well, which was the real version?
Let me tell you something, Taff, real quick. Sorry to cut you off, but if you want to hear the truth, all you got to do is go to storytelling time with Dutch Mantel, and he'll tell you the truth about Hulk Hogan. He lies through his teeth.
There you go. Okay. Well, then that's definitely what I need to look up then and take a listen to for sure. So tell me about this, the promo wrestling world. I mean, if a lot of people have heard me talk about it and seen some guests on here in the past from the promo wrestling world, like Peter Richards that I've had on here. I've had the Creepy Leech himself, just to name a few. What was it like for you? When did you first get into promo wrestling, and what were your thoughts on the whole situation? Just tell us a little bit about it from your eyes.
In my eyes, I've been promoing since I was 5 years old. I mean, I practiced in front of my fucking mirror, for Christ's sake. I mean, everybody has. If you're a wrestling fan, you started promoing since you learned how to talk. But the promo world, in the context of what we're talking about, the more aggressive, in your face promo world, I think about 5 years I was doing it, but I was banned. I was kicked out. I was actually kicked out of the shit that I pretty much originated uh,
Yeah.
for some pretty stupid things, but we're working through it actually. And we're talking about me going back to the promo world. And we're going to do it my way. And I got some stories that I would like to tell. That's for damn sure. Andrew fucking Storms, if you're watching this, you don't know nothing about violence until you see me, son. Um,
Yeah, there you go.
but I think it's time for me to come back into the mix, I think, because now I come in with a little bit more experience. I've seen some of the best wrestlers perform that you can see on television. I've had them behind my camera lens. I've helped them tell their promos. I
Tell
assisted
the
them.
story.
I think I have an advantage now, and I know there's some in the promo world that are in the business and they know how it works, and we have the advantage. And I think there needs to be more guys like that. And I'm ready to light the fire again.
You think kind of like behind the scenes, a lot of people don't know, some people do, but this tournament that you've been doing that I'm involved in, I'm having a blast doing it. Do you think this is one way to help these guys that are in the pro wrestling world, indie world, to help them break out of that shell to be able to cut promos?
Well, that's I'm glad you bring that up because I started this whole thing called Vignette Championship Wrestling, and it's co-signed by Alpha Jr. of the Samoan Dynasty. He runs Battlefield Pro Wrestling, and we talked about it. And a lot of the superstars that are in BPW, they don't really have a place to work on their promos when they're training, when they're actively training. So I
Yeah.
built this platform for wrestlers and promo athletes to actually go up against each other, to work on a character somewhere, where people can create, where they can go up against actual talent, because you don't see that a lot in the promo world at
Yeah.
all.
No, not at all. I totally agree with you on that one. That's something I've done ever since I was little too. I'd just sit there and I'd listen to people talk trash like Ric Flair, and I just feel like I'd pretend I was Ric Flair. I didn't have nothing super great to dress up except a buttoned up shirt. And I'd look at myself in the mirror and put my dad or my mom's big old glasses on and try and talk, sound funny.
Yeah, I,
you
I, I
know,
was I was doing the Dusty Roads the whole. I was doing the Dusty Roads. The 4 horsemen. You got to get the horsemen in there. You got to have a little swag in your tongue. It's wrestling is fun because it makes you want to make something of yourself. You're a dreamer. You want to create something that's bigger than life. That's what I think of wrestling as.
oh yeah, and it's all about telling that story. You know,
That's it. That's
um,
it.
I've seen guys cut promos and all they want to do is ask questions about the promo the other person did. They want to repeat everything that the other guy said and not get to the point, and it just kills me every time. But I know they're learning, and it's part of being green. But the guys that get me the most are the guys that say, "Oh, I'm the best in the promo game," but they're acting like they just started. You know,
I
I think you
well,
know what I'm talking about.
I think the promo world is kind of misconstrued in a lot of different ways because when you look at it from the outside in and you're looking at it as a normal person, um, it seems like a lot of smack talk. It's just people talking smack, and it's
I
just
think you're a
people.
little bit.
It's
You're
people
kind of in the
talking
robot
shit.
form.
Yeah, am I there?
People
Am I
talking
there?
shit. Yeah.
So basically, when you're looking at it from the outside in, it's you're talking shit to an empty screen. There's no wrestling behind it. So people don't really understand it at all. They're like, what the hell is this shit I'm watching? But then you see the storytellers that actually tell stories. That's what promo wrestling is supposed to be, storytelling.
I mean, yeah. Give me 1 second. I'm right here still. I completely hear what you're saying. I think I figured out what the hell was wrong.
Always the technical bullshit.
Now,
I can hear you
can you hear me
perfectly.
now?
Yep. I can see you and hear you.
Okay, there you are. Perfect. I didn't even have my Wi-Fi on. What the heck was that all about?
See, you got to have your shit together, man. Come on now.
I'll tell you what. The good
Come
guy,
on now.
CJ Black, pops in here and he says, I'm going to start repeating everything. Good advice. See, this guy, he's 95% in character. I don't know if you've seen him yet or seen him on my show, but he's a character work. He's funny. He's up there in Michigan, by the way. ROEW. Check him out.
All right,
He,
absolutely.
he is
I
the
like looking at people that I've never seen before, you know, in
really.
the promo world.
Yeah, he calls himself the good guy, CJ Black. He is the current ROEW World's Heavyweight Champion. He's got a big matchup coming up on January 1 against somebody that I'm not going to even name on my channel anymore because he's a big titty baby. And he's one of those guys that can't take a promo serious. He takes it too seriously and it got him in his feelings. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about you. And let's see. So talking about that with the promos and stuff, have you ever heard the term, or not the term? I've heard somebody in an interview, I can't remember when. It was actually recent. You get a lot of guys who could go out there in the wrestling world and they're a hell of a talent, but they can't cut a promo to save their life. Or they're really good on the mic, but they can't wrestle to save their life. Have you ever seen that in real life?
I see it every weekend. I see it every weekend. I see it every post. I mean, the art of promoing is gone. True promoing and the way that it was done in like the 80s and the 90s, the early 90s, that shit is long gone. There is no such thing as a promo style because in my eyes, the deathmatch circuit right now probably has the best promos, even out of the major circuit. Truly, if you look at underground deathmatch, like if you look at a talent called Atticus Cogar, this man, bar none, could probably out promo anybody in the major circuits. I'm talking WWE, anything. Matt Tremont, probably one of the best storytellers I've ever seen. Promoing is a lost art form. The ones that have the talent, that's fine, but you got to be a complete package in the wrestling world, or you're just not going to be the top of the line. You're not going to be the Seth Rollins. You're not going to be the CM Punks. Mm-hmm. CM Punk has the whole magnet. Yeah, he might be old and he can't do the things he used to, but he can still put asses in the seats. And that comes from the words coming out of your mouth.
That's one of the number one things. CJ Black saying Bret Hart. Maybe he's talking about like wrestlers and stuff, but Bret Hart was decent, you know, on the mic. He had a lot of believability.
I completely agree with CJ because Bret Hart, honestly, had a very good promo every time. He was short and to the point.
Yeah.
Like, that's what a lot of problem is in a promo world. People want to cut a 5-minute promo. That's not real life, dude.
No.
If you got a 1-minute time frame, you better get that shit in.
Exactly. And sometimes, yeah, it's nice to, you know, to see it go a little bit more, but don't let it drag. Keep consistent with it. You know what I mean? Stay with what you're saying and stay on topic and put the button at the end of it. That's one thing that I get that I don't understand with some people. Maybe it's just, I don't know, the old school guy in me. I get a lot of people who say I remind them a lot of the old school 80s type wrestlers because I get to the point, I'm very stern with what I say. I get compared to Austin a lot, but when it's not Austin, it's like you have that 80s style. I have a button at the end of my promos, and you know it. You've seen it. A lot of people like to repeat it because they like to rip me off, and it's funny. But you know what I mean. You know, I think it's really hard to find that, but when you do, I think every wrestler should have some type of a, you know, in a way, a catchphrase that's something to them. You know what I mean?
A catchphrases work for certain individuals. You're definitely a guy that needs a catchphrase because sad thing to say to you, but you are cursed with a stone cold thing for the rest of your life. It's just your delivery.
It might be.
but it
It might,
works for you. It works for you.
yeah. I mean, you see a guy going out there like LA Knight, and I had somebody comment me. This was a couple of months ago. This is a funny story. Somebody commented on one of my promos and said, "How does it feel to see someone like LA Knight rip you off, James Taylor?" And I was like, "What?" I was like, because he's out there and he's literally Austin and Rock put together. He sounds so much like The Rock, but he's got that little Austin thing to it. It don't bother me. I say go for it.
Folks,
But
I'm gonna tell you something. In my opinion, we're all different. We're all different in this world. But let me tell you something. The weird thing, we all have the same mannerisms in some kind of form or fashion. When you watch somebody for so long, you're gonna get mannerisms. You're gonna pick up things that they do, and you're gonna be like it. That's
that
just
might be why
us
I
as
am the way.
humans.
What I wish people would get is the fact that, yeah, I have a lot of the mannerisms as Austin, but I also, if you really pay attention to my words, I say a lot of things that Triple H would say.
Yeah,
I mesh them together, and you get me.
yeah.
That's my
What you
style.
that's what you got to be. You got to be diverse.
Exactly. Um, I want to know because I'm curious. I never really actually got to talk to you about it. It's been a couple of years now, but tell me about, if you remember, the time where it was when we first met. It was actually you cut a random promo on me on TikTok and challenged me to a one-off match outside of the companies we were a part of. And I went right on board with it. And me and you, we've been talking and been friends ever since. But do you remember that at all?
Yeah, I remember that. That was before I got into a whole tirade with a certain organization.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. You remember?
yeah,
Do
I
you
was
remember at
known.
all what
I,
brought that up?
I think I first saw Stone Cold Steve Kyle. I remember it now. My stoner brain is starting to register a little
And I'm
bit.
actually friends with him too. So
So I watched the Stone Cold Steve Kyle thing, and he was a little bit. He had more fans, so he was kind of not accessible as you. And
yeah,
I saw you right after. I'm like, dude, I've been doing this my whole entire life. Why don't I just promo this guy? So I called you out, and it worked.
mhm.
And then I joined that certain organization. Well, I'm cool with them now. So it was NGT.
Yeah,
It's water under
yeah,
the bridge. So NGT, I got in there. I had a little spat with Crispy,
yeah.
and it ended badly. And then
Same.
I was like, let me just keep shooting back and forth from TAF to NGT. And it was just, I was having fun. I was like, let me get attention in this world. And that's how I did it.
There you go. I mean, sometimes it's kind of like going for that proverbial brass ring, right? You're just
That's
trying to
wrestling.
reach out and make a name for yourself. And I was doing the same thing. I wanted to cut a promo with anybody that wanted to talk trash with me.
That's
Skippy, and you know Skippy the Evil Clown, he did it with me. He never been a part of this game at all. He does haunted houses and stuff, but he saw me, and for some reason, he wanted to do a wrestling style promo on me, and that's where it all took off from there.
You bring up Skippy, a guy that's never given me a match, you little punk. I respect the hell out of Skippy. I do. And he knows. He knows. I respect the hell out of him. And I want that match with Skip. I want it bad.
That
Because there's
that
another clown that's in this room that can come out at any time. But he's at bay right now.
There you go. I'll be sure to show him that clip right there.
Yeah, make
Uh,
sure you do.
Skippy's aware of you, and I know that he would want to work with you for sure. And that's a matchup maybe we could see in 2024. We need to see a promo style like that because he is all into his editing and creating his backgrounds and then going full-fledged character. That guy lives his character and he's everything that he says he is, and he's got that believability that some people don't got, you know.
That's the
And
only
that
way. That's how you make a character relatable. That's how you make a character work. And the only way in wrestling to succeed is shoot. You shoot. You keep trying until you can't try no more.
Mhm. I know, and that's definitely it. Shane Davidson's coming in here saying, "What's up, James?" Shane Davidson's up there in Tennessee. He was a part of TBW. He kind of still is. which is where I was doing some stuff. And he is, I think he's doing some indie stuff now or training to be in it. He's a big dude. He's 6'4", over 300 pounds, but he knows a few wrestling stuff. He's pretty good. He's real green, rookie style, but he's really into it.
I'm very familiar with Tennessee. I was just down in McKenzie, Tennessee, filming the Carnage Cup 13.
Why the hell didn't you tell me? I would have came to that.
Yeah, it was a hell of an extravaganza. Being behind the camera, of that stepping on light tube fixtures, watched a guy get Tabasco sauce dumped on him. It was a madhouse.
Damn. So let's jump into it for a minute, because a lot of the guys that are going to be watching this is definitely going to be interested in it. Battlefield Pro Wrestling, is it all death match wrestling, or is there actual just regular one-on-one singles matches in there?
Well, I'm glad you said that, because everybody does know me. If you know who Icarus Haxen is and you know who I am, I love the death match. But Battlefield Pro Wrestling down at 137 Aaron Lane, Broadheadsville, Pennsylvania. It is ran by Alpha Jr., that once was part of Randy Orton's group. Okay, he was a big dog in WWE. He was in WWE.
Okay.
He left, and he started this great organization called Battlefield Pro Wrestling. Wow. We are making some of the best up-and-coming talent that the wrestling world is going to see. We just crowned our inaugural champion, KC Navarro. Gene Snitsky turned on Alpha Jr. because he was promised a world title match, and he never got it.
Oh, Snitsky used to be part of WWE as well. I've actually seen him live back in 05. I did.
There's a lot of WWE talent that has come through the doors of BPW. We're definitely recognized by a lot of people, and it's great to see, because we put in a lot of work into BPW.
I've watched a few of the shows. I've seen it, and I like it.
If you're watching the shows, check it out on Premier Streaming Network, and you'll hear Rhinestone Cowboy's crazy voice with his partner, Big Joe Machesko. But dude, it's just hard work. Actually being part of the production, helping with the storylines, just being a part of this thing is so surreal to me, honestly, Taff. It's like, you get that dream, and then it's there. And you're like, holy shit, I'm actually in the fray. Like, I called a Matt Cardona match. I never thought I would ever do that in my damn life. I mean, it's just.
Wasn't he in Ring of or NWA and Ring of Honor and Impact?
Matt Cardona, also known as Zack Ryder.
Right, I know that.
Yeah, he's the belt king. I mean, he was the belt collector for a long time. I mean. Yeah. He's the hottest thing on the indies, and he was a pleasure to work with. He's bigger than life. It's amazing. I mark out all the time, and I'm not afraid to fucking say that at all.
No, I would too, definitely.
Not at all.
It's very interesting to hear it. So BPW, that they're considered an indie company, correct?
It is. It is.
What's the? I gotta get the link again. I'll get the link to there's a YouTube channel for them, right? Battlefield Pro Wrestling.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I'll do is in the description down below. So anybody that's watching this in the future, I will have the link to Battlefield Pro Wrestling. You could go straight to their channel and check them out. You can hear my buddy right here, Icarus Haxen, or the Rhinestone Cowboy, on commentating, color commentating, sitting there talking and calling the matches, because I watched a few of them, and I'll tell you what, he is a trip to listen to.
Yeah, he's something else. He's something else. But to bring up BPW again, we can't do death matches in Pennsylvania because of there's codes. There's really no blood allowed in Pennsylvania. Really? So we push hardcore matches. We've had a couple of those, but normally it's straight up wrestling. It's what you see
when you're in Pennsylvania, right?
Yes, down in Broadheadsville, Pennsylvania.
One of my
definitely check us out, because we're hitting hard. They're
And I'm
hitting
going to
hard
put
now.
that link down in the description. That way everybody can click on the link and they'll definitely be able to come check y'all out. Maybe it'll help boost a little bit of some subscribers for y'all. We got 40,000 on this platform. So hopefully this will be an exposure for y'all to help more. I'd love to help in any way that I can. One of my buddies right here, D'Angelo the Flame, he is from Resurrection Wrestling. I've met him in person a few times. Good kid. Great talent. He's trying to come up more. He's kind of doing some indie stuff, which is with Resurrection. That's trying to become indie. Good kid, great talent. Just needs to learn his promo skills, and he's. I've been helping him a little bit with some advice on that and coaching, and I think he's been going the way he's been going. So definitely check him out.
Well, BPW's actually having open tryouts in 2024 in the beginning of it. So if
Right.
anybody has the chance to get down to Broadheadsville, you have a chance to win in 6 free months. So
How much does it normally cost?
I'm not gonna say something wrong and make Alpha slap the shit out of me next time he sees me. So I'm not gonna say exactly. Just check out all of the stuff on social media. We are BPW or Battlefield Pro.
Definitely.
Find us.
And yes, ladies and gentlemen, definitely check them out. He said, I'd gladly come through. D'Angelo is looking to just get as much exposure as he can. He's one I might be having here as a guest on the Nemesis session sometime in the future as well. But hey, here's some talent right there. He said they're up in Pennsylvania, D'Angelo. So reach out to Icarus. I'll put his links. I'll put his social media links if he wants me to in the description. You can reach out to him and y'all can talk. So Shane Davis is saying, James, I can't wait till we work. Yeah, he wants to have a match with me. He's a 6. He said it earlier. I thought he was 6'4", but he said, I'm no longer with TBW. I am 6'6". And okay, that's right, because he's a big bastard.
He's a big drink of water, right? That's what the down south expression is. That's a big drink of water right there.
Exactly.
Well, here's the thing. I know one thing about Taff. It's very hard to get a match with this fucker because he talked about that match he had with me, but he's never given me one after that. So let's just say that.
It's not that I didn't want to have another one. It's just that it's like everything just didn't happen. You know, we need to find it where we can get it more. So now because he said that too, the 6'6" thing, you know, I don't know if you ever saw it, but that's him right there. I'm picking up. He's 6'6". I thought he was 6'4", but he weighs over 300 pounds.
You've been working on them squats.
Boom. Oh, yeah. Gave him a little, we were just practicing right there in the ring, but he's a good guy. He's a good learner. And for a big dude of his size, he could take a bump, no problem. So, D'Angelo, though, he says he's 6'4", and he is. He's a big dude, but he's a lot more frail than 300 pounds. He's more around maybe 200.
Battlefield will take it. We don't care how big they are. We just come on down and try out.
I'm 5'8". I'm not big, but I could put on a show. No problem.
When there's places like AEW around, anything's possible.
There you go. There you go.
Let's be honest.
Yeah. So have you ever thought, or you know, one thing I never really did ask you, and I know you're part of BPW now. He said 200 when wet. So have you ever actually had a match, like a physical match, Icarus, or are you taking any bumps or anything lately, or ever in your life?
Well, I've gone through 6 months of training, and then routinely, I think when you get older, it sucks because your back goes. And when my back went, it went, and I stopped doing it, and I wanted to be a manager. I put all my chips into being a manager or doing something with commentary or being in production. And I love wrestling, and I wanted to be it in that capacity. My body couldn't handle it, so I had to do a different approach. So I look at wrestling, and I look at the athletes, and I look at them in a different way, because when you train and you do the bumps and you do all that shit, it fucking hurts. It's like MJF when he cut that promo where he said, everything that we do legitimately can kill us.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry to say, folks, but a fucking hip toss could kill you. It could kill you, folks. So I have so much respect for this sport. I don't call it entertainment. It's sport.
Yeah.
And I think that I still, when I go to a death match, when I go to XPW or I film somewhere, I'll have somebody crack me with a light tube just to have a reminder, a little bit of fuel.
Yeah.
You know, I like taking shots by weapons. It
Mhm.
gets that fire going.
There you
But
go.
I can't have a physical match. It sucks, but
Hey, understandable. And I've heard stories and I've seen guys where they go in and they want to become a superstar and wrestle, and they end up being better as a manager or a referee or, like you said, a commentator. And they find that talent to do that, and it works perfectly for them.
well,
They're
that's
still in the wrestling world, so
I'm glad that you brought that up and said that, because when I see a lot of wrestling, I see a lot of people in wrestling, when their chips go down or they can't wrestle or something, they think it's all over. You can't think that way. This industry is so vast.
yes.
I'll admit it. I've only been in it for a year in the production standpoint, but in I've seen it. It's a very vast area. So just keep trying. You could get in this business in any way. It's just you got to keep shooting.
You got to find a way. There's
Mhm.
this young kid. He's a backyard wrestler, and he fresh out of high school, but he's only had a handful of matches, and he's very green. But you could tell he's very, very, very passionate about it. And he said there's some wrestling company that's doing things, and he said, I don't know if I'd be able to fit in because I'm so small. I said, why don't you try it? And if anything, see if you could do some refereeing so you can learn how to call matches and learn how they're going. And now he's up there trying out, and they got him doing some referee stuff. I forgot the name
Hey,
of the company, but it's
I'm gonna give you another. I'm gonna give you another sound bite. You ready? I'm gonna give you another sound bite.
yeah.
Do you all remember a guy named Marco Stunt?
Marco Stunt.
You remember Marco Stunt, little Marco Stunt, AEW? He was with Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. He was that little shit, right? That ran
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
If that guy can be on film and he could be in the business, anything is possible. There's hornswoggle. There's height don't matter. It's just you keep fucking trying.
There you go.
That's all it is, man.
Alan Michaels, he's another guy that was in TBW, kind of TBW, and he's going into the indie scene as well, following Shane Davidson. He's a big boy, but he knows how to carry his own in the ring. Alan Michaels said, what's up, James? He's another guy who's wanting to have a match with me. Check him out. He's on TBW. You can see one of his matches. Actually, his match with Shane Davidson, so you can see them both at the same time. There you go.
Yeah.
D'Angelo said, man, Shane, where I be at? Let's set up a match. He goes, oh, and then Shane has a question for you if you've looked. He wants to know, what are your thoughts on Gage Flair from TBW if you've watched it?
I have not watched it.
So I was a part of TBW, Tennessee Backyard Wrestling, and I know you see the little skits here and there.
I have.
There's a guy on there. He's a big boy, but he's very in the character of the Nature Boy Ric Flair. He literally calls himself the Nature Boy Gage Flair. He does the woos. He does everything Ric Flair does, except he has long black hair. It's not blonde. He looks like a Samoan, but the bitch can. He does a lot of Ric Flair stuff. He's entertaining to watch. I've had one match with him. Hopefully, maybe I'll get a second one. But he was wondering what your thoughts are. So well,
So
you're
telling me there's a Samoan Ric Flair?
Basically, yeah.
That's pretty damn impressive in itself. So that's going to get over
I'm
real
not
quick.
saying he's Samoan,
I'm
but
just saying. You said it. He's got the appearance, so that'll get you over right there. That's impressive.
there you go. But I mean, he's very vibrant in that character. He has robes and stuff that he gets made.
Just stay off of
maybe not
airplanes.
no $30,000 robes, but they're robes nonetheless.
As long as he stays away from airplanes, he'll be fine.
Exactly. There you go. He's a 300-pounder. and he takes those big old bumps off the top rope now. You know, the grab just like Flair does and flop them with the military press. He takes them.
These big guys are impressive nowadays, man.
Oh,
I mean, they're impressive. They're getting it. I've seen them doing 450s. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Shane says he doesn't like him. Maybe we can find out more about that later. Shane don't like him. He is one of the writers for TBW. So maybe that might have something to do with it. Might be something different. I don't know, but nonetheless, there it is.
Oh, it's all good.
So, in your commentary world, your commentary gimmick, the Rhinestone Cowboy. So, was it difficult for you to get into it and start calling matches, or did it come to you naturally?
Dude, I'm going to tell you something. I was high as shit when the first time I did it because I had to be. I think I was in shock by the fact that Lance Awahi is standing right next to me.
Yeah.
Alpha Junior's right here, and Gene Snitsky's right behind me.
Oh man!
And Alpha just goes, "Your commentary, and this is your night, and you're gonna start." And I was like, "Shit." Who's my play-by-play guy? What's everything going on? And I met my partner, Big Joe Machesko, and his vibe kind of just shifted to mine, and we just flowed together. And I don't know, it reminded me of being like a little kid with my cousin doing commentary with the WWF VHS on mute.
Oh,
and we used to call over it. I was that kind of mark, if you want to say. I was commentating when I was like 5 with my cousin. It just worked.
Yeah.
And it's crazy that the end of 2023, I get nominated and win commentating team of the year for BPW with my partner.
Really?
So it's crazy to actually be acknowledged by people like that have been in the industry for so long. And it's fucking crazy.
That goes a long way, man. That's some good credentials right there. So
yeah,
to you. I know you've seen my PWF stuff, and you've heard me on commentary. Any comments on my commentary skills? Am I all right compared to you?
I think you're good. Yes, I think you are good. There's certain. I think the old style of commentary needs to be brought back.
Yes.
And you have that old style feel. That's why everybody wants to have a match against you. You know what I mean? Because the old school is still appreciated.
I love it, dude. I live it. I live the old school.
Like, name me one good commentary duo that's successfully over and over again right now.
I mean, if you really want to go to the best team was JR and Jerry the King Lawler commentary.
Well, of course, everybody's going to say that, but I'm talking now.
I liked hearing Bobby the Brain and Gorilla Monsoon a lot. Sometimes Jesse Ventura. I love.
Well, Jesse Ventura was probably the best. He was probably the best.
I loved hearing Jesse Ventura and McMahon when they were going. You know,
McMahon is very underappreciated as well.
I loved McMahon's calling in matches, especially when it came. He had this one that always got me. Tell me if this hits you. But he'd get so into when the pinfall's happening. Oh, he's going for the pin. 1, 2, and and he kicked out. I'm like, I love that. I love that. And then what a maneuver, that stuff. I love
it. I think like right now in WWE, Michael Cole is the best commentary guy right now.
Of course.
And of course he should be, because he was trained by everybody.
Yeah, and he's been in it for at least 25, 30 years now.
But there's really nobody else besides Booker T. Booker T with NXT is a natural.
Yeah, true. Booker T is really good at what
he's a natural.
I hear them other guys. I don't feel that.
No.
That commentary passion that I used to feel with all the older guys, like Corey Graves. I like him, but I don't feel it. When Pat McAfee gets on there, I don't
He's
feel
too pretty. He's too pretty. Let's just be honest. He's too pretty.
Exactly.
Man. He keeps it. He's too tight ass, and I feel like we need to bring back the rougher feel to wrestling and let
Yeah.
it be. I think cancel culture really killed wrestling in a way.
That's what made it so rough. Is
Yeah,
because of all that crap. You know.
coronavirus, all that shit.
That's why I try and bring like with the PWF. I know it's fantasy, it's a 2K league, but it's wrestling. I mean, everybody. I created PWF kind of like because of the promo world. I created a platform and a stage for people who obviously probably has a lot of reasons why they can't get into actual wrestling for either whether it's health, whether it's some type of mental, whatever it is, but they love wrestling. So they have a character created through the game and they can live by watching their character on screen live out what they would want. And that's why I try and bring to the audience, especially here on YouTube.
Well, I truly feel that promo wrestling, if utilized correctly, is a very beneficial thing for a lot of people. I
Mhm.
human human nature is we need an outlet to express how we feel, and without it, you're just rotting away. You got to have some kind of creativity, or you're not doing anything.
No, I
But
know.
we see a lot of people that screw up the promo world real fast because they can't understand it.
Yeah.
They take it way too damn serious.
That, yeah. And that's something, there's something we could talk about right there. Have you seen, I mean, what's your
Oh,
take on
we can talk
those people
drama.
who take this stuff seriously?
We can talk drama. I'll talk shit. I'm not
Yeah.
afraid to talk shit at all.
Okay. Let me throw a little drama at you my way. It has nothing to do with you, but this is okay to a backyard wrestler who I had a Instagram live right before Christmas, and I was just venting. And I say 5 minutes into it, I say, by the way, this is all in character work, so get ready. If you get your feelings hurt, I'm sorry. And I'm in character, and I go full fledged James Taylor promo and calling out the backyard wrestling community. I even call out some indie communities and stuff like that. And just talking shit, talking my trash. And this one guy who I did have a match with, I called him out on it and how I thought it was BS and blah, blah, blah for whatever the reasons. Long story short, it got in his feelings. He took it too personally. It went so far as to where he could not take my character serious enough. It proved me right, and he blocked me on social media, and I thought it was hilarious.
I, I
And I
mean,
was just in character.
yeah, I can completely relate to that because the friction between me and NGT was very funny. It really was, and that shit is so far back now that they understand it. I understand it,
You
but
know,
it
I
got,
understand it because I had a very similar situation with me.
dude, it got so serious. I took on I think 60 people. It was insane, and I answered every single person.
That was when you started talking with me because of
Yeah.
all that shit and all that drama. D'Angelo says Delta. I'll just say it. Yes, Delta. Jack Delta. He's a backyard wrestler who is considered a backyard darling.
Hmm.
Before you think of anything and say, well, let him come to the Indies and let him try it. Well, here's the thing. He went to the Indies. He trained. Somebody almost dropped him on his head. He had bad vibes, and he said never again and went back to the backyard world. And what he's done to get himself over a little bit is he's traveled to so many backyard companies over the U.S., which is impressive. I'm not taking nothing away from the kid, but he's just doing match after match after match that it's like the matches are meaningless because there's no stories behind them. It's just he's like, oh, I've had so many matches this year, blah blah blah. Anyways, it's about him. He had a match with me, and I was one of those guys that kind of irked me because he gave one guy 25 minutes of his time to do the best thing he can to put him over
Hmm.
when he didn't, and he gives me 7 minutes and doesn't even remember anything about it. And it kind of, I just was in character talking trash to call him out for another match, and he took it seriously. That's where that came from. So, but anyways,
There's people that can't comprehend reality from non-reality. I mean, it happens. It happens real
One of my
fast.
good buddies, one of my good buddies, Joshua Allen, he is a talent for TBW. He actually owns Tennessee Backyard Wrestling, and he is he is the color commentator as Joshua Ross for TBW. He is actually a guy who is compared to Jim Ross because of the way he talks.
That's impressive. I I,
So
I I like that. I like that.
if you watched any of my stuff that I've sent you, or even entrances, if you listen to him when he's calling me, it sounds like Jim Ross calling out Austin almost. I mean, it's just he's so into it. This is a guy that you might want to talk to one day, and he's a big Elvis fan as well.
Well, we can chat it up.
Yeah,
I like talking to fellow commentary people.
well, good deal, definitely. D'Angelo said that live was funny because of what I said. But anyways, yeah, I mean, you had 60 guys on you at once. I basically had almost those same guys come at me, and they shut down my old server in Discord.
That's yeah. I've it's the promo world is a very nasty place. Let's not even lie. I mean, there's some people that literally think it is life.
Yeah,
It's life or death. They take it way too serious. Um, Sometimes I'm guilty. I've gotten serious with a couple people because they pushed it over the line.
yeah.
And now I'm like,
I have
okay,
to.
I'm like, fuck
I
it.
mean,
You want to do it? Let's do it. Let's play. Let's dance with the devil, I guess.
there you go.
So I played a goddamn clown for Christ's sake. I was known as King Death for like I think 6 months. I had like a 60-day death match world championship. I was successful defending it, and then I lost it to a guy that was 450 and did a moonsault off of the top rope through glass. That was the story line.
Yeah.
I was like killed off. So I've been
Damn.
murdered in promo wrestling twice.
Damn.
I mean, I've had some pretty crazy shit happen to me in fantasy world.
Uh, I haven't had anything super crazy happen to me. I guess because I wanted to protect my character in the
You're
most.
not living yet. You're not living yet until you've been killed off.
Yeah, I guess so.
You're technically a ghost.
When you called me out back in that time, and I cut that promo back against you, I don't really remember it because I lost that account. But you've seen my style back then. What were your thoughts? Do you remember at all? Because when I
Um,
saw you, I'll tell you, when I saw you and how to the point you were, and you were just straight shooter, just like you point out, I said, this guy knows what he's talking about, and I already dig it. And I want to see if I could keep up with him. I saw you as okay, he's an NGT guy or was an NGT, so he knows how to talk some shit. Let's see if I can keep up with him. So I just dished it back to you the best I could, and you complimented me in your next promo, and then went back, and we went back and forth, and it was fun. So I actually had fun when I promoted against you. That's how I felt. But what about you on your side?
I think back then you were more of a. You didn't really care if you offended people back then. You were a little bit more ruthless back then because I think you wanted that cheap heat
Yeah,
because we all were back then. Let's just be honest. Back then, when we competed for that, everybody was more ruthless and cutthroat. Like there was nobody afraid to go on your social media, look up something personal, and bring that shit up.
uh-huh.
That's how insane it was. And it still is at times. But
Yeah, and now you got
these
to be
people
more
are
careful.
going freaking crazy. So you got to do something.
I'm in my neck of the woods. I'm labeled as a huge smartass. And what I do now when I do my promos is I make sure that I know exactly what I'm saying when I'm saying it, to where nobody can say, "Well, you said this," and I can look back and say, "No, I didn't. I never said
I,
that." Put words
I,
on.
I was taught, I was taught like I was taught a couple things. You're supposed to tell the location, the time, and everything like that, and do a little bit of heat or face whatever you're doing in character, and then you get right to the end. If you can't fulfill 1 minute and do it successfully, it's not going to work.
Uh-uh. Uh-uh. It's
You have to be
difficult.
quick.
It's difficult. And I remember back in the day before TikTok or before anything like that, whenever I was even just doing regular trampoline backyard wrestling and then wrestling on the ground, I would look in a mirror and work on my facial expressions and talk trash to myself just so I could find that believability. So whenever I would talk to somebody, they believe it. Because the one thing
Yeah.
I think you know better than anybody, if you don't believe in yourself and you don't, your audience ain't going to believe a damn thing that you say and they're not going to buy no ticket. You
Yeah,
know what
your character is not going to be successful.
I mean? Uh-huh.
It's not going to work unless you believe in it.
I see guys talk a lot of trash and I don't buy it half the time. Just
Yeah,
like I think he wants to believe what he's saying is true, but I could tell he don't.
well, my variety back then was I was the dark character,
Yeah.
but really I was the reality factor. I tried to play the guy that was trying to use life situations to make your mind work against you. So
And
I very rarely did I watch people's product. I would just watch their last shit and I would judge them off of that.
right.
I'd be like, what was their last match? Okay, I'll watch that. Then I'll watch their opponents. And I'm like, all right, I got them. I'll pinpoint what they got really pissed off about, and then I shot for it. But I used reality to fight. And that's why I was always known as a manipulator. I got screwed with people's heads.
That's very clever in a way to do it. I do
I
something
was,
similar, only I don't do the that. I do like surroundings off of what I'm looking at the very moment. I can point something that's on your
yeah,
shirt, point out your facial hair. That's how I am. But what your way is a really clever way to do it because it can mess with you. And I've seen some of the work that you've done with that. And I'm just like, what? What the hell was that?
I think I did
Wow.
a whole promo once and I danced for a minute and
Yeah.
just like had some kind of creepy fairy tale thing telling in the background. Like you don't need to say words all the time.
Yeah. Josh Ryland says, I viewed The Iron Claw last night. Good film. Definitely a sad one as well. I have not seen it. Have you?
Dude, that I think that was the same director that did The Wrestler, if
Okay.
I'm not mistaken.
I have no idea.
It was very rough to watch at times, but
Yeah.
I think the end picture explains everything. The end picture that runs right at the end, it
Yeah.
tells everything about the Von Erichs.
That's interesting. Definitely interesting.
Good
Um,
movie.
as the Von Erichs, man, those were some guys right there, and they wrestled barefooted. A lot of them. I loved it.
Kevin was an animal, and
Yeah.
I hope for his sake that he stays grounded for the rest of his life peacefully,
Uh huh. Uh huh.
barefoot and all.
Yeah, I know, right? um, I mean, I remember watching them going against Flair the few times they did. I remember watching them and the Freebirds going at it, and those were some awesome matches back then.
Yes, indeed. But he got cheated out of a lot of things he should have had.
That's
That's
true.
the one damn thing for sure.
I mean, just talent was written all over them. I mean, just natural in the ring. Just,
Yeah.
I was just, oof. I hate that they, most of them went out the way they did. It's a really sad tale. But nonetheless, to bring better vibes, curious to know, do you, we're kind of two-part question. Number one, I saw your most recent little skit on TikTok where you said that you are going to be coming back and you got a lot of things to get off your chest. Was that in character or out of character? And then number two, that being said, if it was in character and you're talking about what you kind of said at the beginning of the broadcast that you're wanting to get back into it, do you have any dream opponents in the promo world?
Oh, I absolutely do. I have a whole agenda written up. Like I literally have a piece of paper with people's names on it. That's how serious it is this time because I mean, I feel that I got robbed out of a lot of things telling stories with a lot of people. And one guy had a problem with me trying to give opportunities to people. Yes, I understand that we live in a different world now, and I'm old fashioned as hell. Um, they don't like the people that I associate, some of them. That's life. You're not going to like everybody that people like.
Yeah.
So I started VCW and I brought a certain person in. They know it, you know him.
Yeah. I already know.
People don't like him, but I gave him an opportunity. Um, and now I want to do something, and I want to call out Andrew Storms. I want to have a match with you, of course, because we got unfinished business.
Yeah.
I'm going to put my name on that docket too.
There you
But
go.
yeah, I got a hell of a lot of different things I want to do. I'm going to get real serious because I feel like I got screwed over by Harlan Manson. I'm not afraid to say it. He bit the hand that fed him. I gave him his whole reality in this damn business. And he tried to punk me, and that wasn't good. I
Damn.
believe in supporting people. Other
Yeah.
people just want to make themselves better.
Well, I was one of those guys, I still am, where I like to try and keep everybody that I value, that I've never had no problems with, close. And I saw you first. I didn't get to talk to you very much because you were part of what at the time KCW, because me and Noah were button heads and just was not getting along. Um, I'm not ashamed to admit it. I didn't like him for a long time. I called him out on shit. This was back in the day now, and I was right. And then it ended up turning into the shit show it is, and everybody branched away and left him. And he was kicked out of the promo world. That part had nothing to do with me. It was just the fact that I wanted to be told that I was right about him the whole time. But then it's like, you know what? I'm all about second chances, third chances, whatever. I still had my feelings about NGT. I don't hate any of the guys over there, but the way that the politics work just wasn't working for me. So I branched PWF away and wished them best wishes. And they haven't messed with me. I don't mess with them. We've been good for over a year now, at least. But then I saw you come back, and you did the Battle of the Tough Guys thing.
Mm.
Didn't work out very well for, I don't know what happened. Something happened, but then the thing with Dane Noah, you said, "Hey, I got something for you." You're talking, blah blah blah, and then you showed him, and I was like, "Oh shit, I got to know what's going on here." So, and it wasn't that I was upset; I was genuinely curious because I've thought about bringing him back, but under me, and we just talked. But then I saw what you did, so I was like, "Okay, I'm interested." So,
Dano is a very misunderstood dude. And
yeah,
I think I gravitate towards the misunderstood people. I like hanging out with people that are open minded and old fashioned.
yeah.
Like I was born in '84. I was born in '84, and I lived through the
April
late
20,
'80s.
April 25th, 84.
I came from a place where we were used to debauchery, people talking shit. Bum fights was around, for Christ's sake.
Yep,
I'm used to gritty shit. I'm not
me.
used to cancel culture. I don't get it.
I know.
It is what it is. So I try to gravitate towards the edgy shit. But
That's I am.
so they know it gravitated towards me, and I gave them an opportunity. People got pissed. And I'm not that guy. I tell it like it is. I'm like, I want to be successful and I want to give people opportunities.
There you go.
That's why I'm trying to give you opportunities. That's why I try to do things for people, because that's what life's supposed to be, isn't it? We like wrestling. So if
Yeah,
I get an in and I know you personally, why wouldn't I try to give you, hey, get into business with me?
exactly. And that's. I mean, that's. It kind of goes back to the way you were raised, or the way you were brought up, and the way you see things as you was growing up. I'm the same way. I'd give my shirt off my back
Mhm.
to anybody if they really needed it. It's that's just how I was brought up, and I completely understand and respect what you're saying. And I know we talked off camera a little bit, and maybe some stuff in the works that could happen. We'll find out. I'm totally for anything. And there it is. But yeah, as far as like Day Noah, I mean, I don't hate the guy anymore. I had a big problem with him at first because of the stuff that was going on, but after that, I let it go and I was done with it. I was just like, I don't care anymore, you know? And that's where I'm at in my career as far as the promo world. I could give two shits what anybody says because I know me, I know what I want, and if people don't like the way I do things, then don't talk to them. Don't worry, scroll past me and go
Yeah,
look at the next person. You know what I mean?
it's plenty of shit to look at.
And I don't need anybody to help me get over. I'm not attention seeking anymore. I've built my platform and I think I've proved that,
Yeah,
you know? And I want to help people build the platform now themselves. Kind of like what you just said. I want to help them build it. As far as like followers that I got on TikTok, I got 38,000 followers and I got 40,000 on YouTube. Combined, that's almost 80,000 people that follow me because of my content. And I'd love to help people get to that level as well.
there's nothing wrong with that shit. That's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
But
It's supposed to be all
people,
being together.
people forgot that shit.
I know. It's wild.
Yeah, wild as shit, man.
But as far as like a future match between you and me, I'm totally for it. Just let me know, name a place and whatnot. Definitely, you know. I
Well,
wouldn't even mind standing in the ring with you and we cut a little promo battle.
I'm fine with that too. Like, I know a place that has a ring that you could gladly come to.
I bet. Just let me know before I show up, whatever if I can, how much I need to bring. If I need to bring some money to sign up,
Well, I can do that. I can do that for you.
you know. I'm not gonna lie. When you were talking about BPW and you being a part of it, I've watched and doing this promo battling with some of these guys. Like I got to do the one with the general manager and stuff. I mean, it's just like I hope that maybe this is. I see what you're doing. You're doing it as a way to cross thread these two worlds together and let them see each other. I know about the wrestling world, so it's I already know it. But some of these other guys, ooh, I'm really getting exposed into the wrestling world now. You know, the
Yeah,
promo guys. But now you're seeing these wrestlers who don't know the promo world, who are seeing how that works, and it
yep.
makes it an interesting tale of events. So, if anything, I'm not gonna lie. I'm lying to you if I don't say I'm not a little bit excited to want to expose myself to these guys to let them see what I'm about, and if that interests them to maybe send an invite, hey, if it happens, it happens. I'll definitely accept the invitation if that time happens.
I look at it this way. You a tutor, right? You've heard of a tutor. What a tutor is? A person that assists you in
Yeah,
getting better and teaching you things you don't know. There's a lot of promo artists that are very good at storytelling and very good at using words and their vocabularies, educated people that could be utilized with wrestling talent that is active
yeah,
because they have a different approach to looking at it. They have to sell a story and a fantasy to people outside the realm of it and
yeah,
make people understand it. Like, oh, they're making a wrestling promo. I get it. And then they go, I wonder who won this shit.
yeah.
Or what's this about? Now they want to search about it. If you're not doing that, then you suck. Let's be honest. And there's a lot of people that should not be in the business that are, if you want to call it the business, but
Yeah.
they shouldn't be there.
I've seen these big jacked up dudes who can be a hell of a talent in the ring, but they can't cut a promo to save their life.
Hell no.
And it's like, dude, you're so talented that way. What is so hard about talking? If you could go in there and tell a story in the ring, why can't you? I mean, I don't know. Or vice versa.
There's a lot of different things I think it's when you're in front of like 130,000 people, you might get a little bit of shock factor, like, holy shit, I'm in
Yeah.
front of 130,000 people. It's a little shit might get a little bit of pressure, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, that would be a lie. I
Have
mean,
you ever been in front of 130,000 people?
the most amount of people I think I've been in front of is about 500.
And I bet you had a little bit of
I'm not
stage
gonna lie,
fright.
I did, but
It's
it was
natural.
before, and that was years ago before I was as confident as I am now.
I think a
I
lot
would,
of that's because of promoing.
yeah, promo helps you that because so even when it's backyard wrestling, or if I'm in a gymnasium, or if I'm just telling a story on TikTok in a promo, I look at like my following. This camera, I know behind this camera, there's at least 80,000 people that's eventually possibly going to watch this. And I want those guys to know, hey, this guy is very believable. I would pay to watch him fight somebody. That's my ultimate goal now. But I know it's a little bit different than if I'm doing the same promo in front of actual an 80,000 pair of eyes looking right at me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
At once. That's a different story.
Actually, I do this shit from both ways. Like I do ringside camera work, then I do commentary, then I'll be doing switcher, and I'll be doing shit on the production line. I'm seeing it in so many different angles
Yeah.
that it's crazy how they build this shit and pull it off. It's insane.
Well, so I figure we'll go ahead. We'll get ready to wrap this up, but I want to give you the floor to give any final thoughts that you have, or if you've got any questions for me or anything in the world that you want to talk about. If you want this to be a platform for you to go ahead and speak it, you want to promote anything, the floor is yours, Mister. Or actually, you know what? Before you do that, can we get a little bit of a sample of the Rhinestone Cowboy in a little promo form of any type?
Oh man, well, you put me on the spot. Well, I guess I can do that.
You don't have to, but if you want to, that'd be great. It'd be a hell of a treat. Because I did put you on here as the Rhinestone Cowboy, and I think some people are like, I haven't seen him yet. I want to see this Rhinestone Cowboy. There
I heard somebody wants a little bit of cowboy in their life, huh? There, Taft Taylor.
it is. Yes, sir. How you doing, Rhinestone?
I'm doing wonderful. I hope this guy didn't bore you because I'm the action-packed guy around here. My hat
Yeah.
seems to have disappeared in his house. I don't know what's going on, but
Oh,
he's
I've
got
seen
it.
it a little bit. Oh, now it's gone again. But Cowboy, aren't you the color commentator for BPW?
The most entertaining professional wrestling right now coming out of Pennsylvania. That's right. BPW, Battlefield Pro Wrestling. I am the color commentary man, Rhinestone Cowboy Johnny Bew. That's
Yeah,
right.
you damn right. That's great. What if old Taft Taylor
Hold
was?
on. You can see my fabulous hair right now. It's
There you
nice and
go.
slick back for you.
I love those 1970 style Las Vegas glasses you got going on right
Let me
there.
tell you something. A classy broad gave me these in Las Vegas. She was a classy broad. She was worth a lot of money, but it was worth it, Taft.
Did you take her home?
Oh, I took her home for a couple hours, I'll tell you that. But that's secrets, though. We're not going to tell any secrets about what I'm doing.
Well, Rhinestone, do you know anything about the Nemesis James Taylor, or what would it be like if you called a James Taylor match? The Nemesis James Taylor, the Tyrant King, and all of wrestling.
Well, let me tell you something, Junior. I know you're in a certain tournament that I'm in called the Test Your Might Challenge for VCW. Yeah, I know who you are. You're going up against Code Red right now. The
Yeah.
OG Code Red.
Yeah, I had a Mountain Dew Code Red a while back, made me sick, but yeah.
He's been jacking people's pockets since 1992, my friend. He's serious business. You got a tough one in front of you. I got that punk J-Star that I don't even know nothing about that punk.
There you go.
Whiny.
I'll tell you what, Rhinestone, I'll tell you what, though, about Code Red real quick. We'll give you a little hint. It'd probably take 2 moves and I would decimate him. I would destroy him.
I don't know. He works on that lucha libre, that real technical, high-flying maneuvers. I don't think you can handle that kind of jazz there, Taft. You look a little pruny a little bit.
So you're saying you underestimate me?
I don't underestimate anything. I underestimate women sometimes because I've had 13 divorces, for Christ's sake, but I'm 13-0.
You mean 0-13?
No, I've
No.
won 13.
Oh,
They
okay.
didn't get nothing from me, my friend.
Okay. No child support. That's all that
Nothing.
matters.
I never had a kid.
There you go. Oh, well, then hey, kudos to you.
That's right, Taft Taylor. I'm smart.
You damn right. Yeah.
But I heard you wanted me to endorse a couple things. You're trying to close this out, or do you want to talk to me a couple more? Because I'll close this out.
I will do whatever you want to do, boss man. You go ahead. The floor is yours.
I guess I can give you about maybe 10 minutes of my time if you want to do it. You got some more questions? You got some more juicy tidbits? You want some drama? Because I ain't got nothing but time.
You know what? We love drama. We love to hear the drama sometimes. Let's start with some drama. Tell me a little drama that you got on the back of your mind, Rhinestone. I'd love to hear what's going on in that head of yours.
Well, I'll tell you what my drama is. I got a problem with the way the cancel culture is still in professional wrestling. It's still there in professional wrestling. See, I come from the genre. I like to be a little bit edgy with my commentary. I don't mind doing a little smack talking. You know what I'm talking about? Because I feel that's what's going to happen. You know, you see something happen, you might need to let a little shit. You might need a little F word slip out there. You know what I mean? You got to be edgy in this world. We've gone too G, you know, too many things or too. No, you can't say that. Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler let it fly. And that was the best shit we've ever seen. I'm going to bring that back with my partner, Big Joe.
Big Joe, that's a hell of
canceling shit and stop being so sissified out there in the world.
Thank you. You know what? I appreciate that and respect that a lot, too.
You're damn right.
Don't worry, I'm still right here. Where'd my thing go? There it is.
I'm scared of spooky things sometimes. You can't black out like that. I've been to places you never want to be, Taft.
No. We don't want that. We don't want that. So Rhinestone, what all do you know about me, the Nemesis James Taylor? Have you seen any of my actual matchups, or have you only watched me cut promos?
I seen you once where you got a little hype there on Chris Jericho's social media. I've seen there. TBH, was it not?
Yep.
Yeah, I remember that. You had a flashy little entrance and all this big stuff. You did a couple stunners on some guy that looked like a corpse. I don't know what that was, but yeah, I saw your jazz. I seen it.
I did. A&E started following me, and they do the biographies and all the stuff with WWE, and they did the wrestling superstar challenge, entrance or whatever, and I did my version of Triple H, and they loved it, and they sent me I don't even know where it went, but they sent me a tumbler that said A&E WWE on it, and I loved that. I thought that was
They gave you a little souvenir there.
They gave me a souvenir for
look at that.
Go on TikTok. You know what
Aren't
I mean?
they the same places that do like homicide reports and all that kind of stuff? They do the little edgy stuff.
They do.
I like it.
So you see, I've got a little bit of exposure out there in TV world, but old James Taylor, the Nemesis himself, would not mind coming up there to Battlefield Pro Wrestling one day, and
I'll take you to a Hooters. That's my favorite place to go. They got the greatest food. Hooters is great.
Why don't you go to Twin Peaks?
They're all right.
They're all right.
I've had some trouble there. We're not going to talk about my secrets once again.
Gotcha. Now, what about the promo world, Mr. Rhinestone?
I've heard about this promo fantasy Dungeons and Dragons. I've heard about it. Listen, if I even entered promo wrestling, I would take over this thing like a Leisure Suit takes over a room.
There you go. Yeah, did you ever play the game Leisure Suit Larry on the PlayStation 2?
Leisure Suit Larry was inspired by my uncle.
Oh, okay. That's right. Was his name Larry?
Larry Johnson. Was his name. Not the basketball player from the Knicks. Not that. We're talking about Larry Johnson, my uncle. Yeah, that whole game. Yeah, he used to wear nothing but leisure suits with his zipper down. It was weird. It was a weird life I lived.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah,
Definitely.
tell me about it.
How long you been in the business, Cowboy?
Let me tell you something. I've been in the business. I started on Telemundo. I was doing extreme dodgeball championships. That's right. And this guy named Carlos Ramsez took me out. Like he talked a lot of smack on me on Twitter then. Now it's X or something like that now. But yeah, I got kicked out of there and I said, hey, that pro wrestling world looks fantastic. I could probably take that over with a swift wind. You know what I mean? And I saw Alpha Jr. and he said, look at that flashy guy. I was dressed to the nine. I'm telling you, Taff, I had the fancy boots on with the spurs. I looked like $1 million. And that's what the business is all about. Almost like selling yourself like a prostitute, which is not legal to do, but don't do that. But that's how you got to approach the business.
There you go. Yeah. You got to sell yourself, but not in that illegal form. So don't.
Not in illegal form. Yeah. But just do it secretly if you have to.
Do you know if Alpha is watching this at all, or if he's going to be watching this later on?
Anything the Rhinestone does, Alpha's like obligated to watch it because I'm under contract, you know, so, but he gives me the okay to kind of do what I want. So if you ever seen my podcast, my goodness gracious, it was a train wreck, the last one.
Now, why is that?
We had these guys on called 3 in the Pink. That's right, 3 in the Pink. Use your imagination, folks. 3 in the Pink. Philadelphia Playboy, Logie P. the Flamingo, and Scott Sable, the inspirational one. They were on my show, and they got a little frisky. We were talking about adult content with my co-host, Sage Santiago, sitting there like the innocent angel that she is.
Is this podcast on YouTube, or is it on?
It absolutely is on YouTube.
Well, maybe you should have James Taylor on there as a guest one day.
Oh, we can have you on, but it's a whole different experience, I'm telling you.
It's not wrestling based.
Oh, it's all over the place. That's what it is.
Okay.
Just like my life, I'm all over the place.
There you go. Well, hey, I dig it. I like it. Do you think we're going to see any of Rhinestone Cowboy in the ring anytime in the future, maybe 2024?
Let me tell you something. Anything's possible in this world, just like anything's possible with those pair of scissors you just had in your hand. You could cut origami. You could do all kinds of things with them scissors. And just like my life, I could do anything with it. If I felt like busting out a 16-hour death match, I could do it if I wanted to. Because why? I'm a cowboy and I live my life real frisky.
Real frisky.
Frisky like a tomcat in an alley cat that you don't want to mix together.
There you go, then. Shoot.
Telling you.
Well, Rhinestone, it was definitely a pleasure to have you on here. Do you have anything you'd like to promote? Or
you're absolutely damn scooting. I got some shit I got to give a shout out to.
Go for it, my friend.
Thank you, Taff, for the opportunity to do this. Number 1 podcast that we brought up earlier. That's the Rhinestone Dabcast at Behind the Storyteller's Lens 138. You'll find it in a playlist area. Hit the Rhinestones Dabcast. You'll see the most fantastic shit. It's all about stoner because I'm a stoner and I support 420, and that's what I'm doing. Doing dabs, doing all that stuff, and I'm getting real frisky. Well, but it's a hell of a time.
Send me the link so I can put it down in the description below, and that way people know exactly what to click.
You will get that. And then after that, go to Premier Streaming Network and check out Battlefield Pro Wrestling. Just go to the whole catalog. It's fantastic all the way. You'll see Gene Snitsky. You'll see Jacob Fatu. You'll see Dan Moff, KC Navarro. Such talent you won't even imagine. And I get to call it because I'm the Rhinestone. Then swing on over to any social media platform. Look up We Are BPW. Look up anything Battlefield. You'll find us. And then see us live at 137 Aaron Lane, Broadheadsville, Pennsylvania, Signature Event Center. Stay classy, because that's what the hell I'm all about there, Taff.
So is that where the Battlefield Pro Wrestling Arena is located?
That is where it's located.
Nice, nice. How many people can fit in there?
I think the capacity in there is we could probably fit 1,000 safely.
Oh wow!
And it's actually getting bigger.
Oh,
From
expand.
2024. There's a whole nother section that's being utilized by another fantastic talent, but he might be going bye-bye, and we might get in a whole nother section. We might bring on 4,000, maybe.
Wow, that's impressive. That's
Big
really,
endeavors.
I might have to relocate up there to Pennsylvania for a short time.
Hey, Allentown, Pennsylvania was the heart and soul of Pennsylvania wrestling for a long time. WWE was in and out of that some bitch. And Broadheadsville is only a hop, a skip, and a jump away.
How far are you from it?
I'm up in the shit town of Erie, Pennsylvania. I hate it here. It's not classy for me. I've ran through every classy woman that I could find around here. And listen, the tank is empty. I gotta leave. I'm about 6 hours away from Broadheadsville.
Oh wow, man!
Terrible.
You got a nice little piano back there on your right.
That is a fantastic piano. That was given to me by Elton John himself.
I'll be damned. He had glasses like yours a lot.
These might have actually came from him. I don't know. I drank a lot of Chardonnay that night, and I don't know really what happened.
Oh,
you're yawning there. You're a little tired.
No, it's been a long week. I'll tell you what, Rhinestone's been a long week for the Taft Taylor, for the Nemesis himself.
I've had a long 2023. I think I haven't even slept.
There you go. I believe it. That's probably why you're wearing the glasses to hide the bags under your eyes, right?
I never take them off.
There you go. I don't know how Battlefield Pro Wrestling would feel, though, with a Southerner out there, a Southern wrestler. You think they'd accept me?
We accept anybody and anybody at all. Come on down. Come on down to Battlefield. They're actually doing open tryouts, and you could win 6 months free there if you win and have an opportunity to be in a futures show.
So, like, how does the tryout go? What do? Do they just put you in and say, we want to see what you could do, or do they want to, like, see if you could do a match?
You're gonna run the full gamut, Tav. You're gonna run the full gamut. You're gonna get the whole pro wrestling training package under the tutelage of Alpha Junior. Maybe other superstars will be there, like Flip Gordon might show up. Gene Snitsky might be teaching you how to do something that day. The opportunities are vast because we are Battlefield. We got big opportunities. But the biggest thing about it, Taff, that you didn't even say, you might actually win the opportunity to be right on a show right after.
That'd be really great. Definitely.
And futures is for the upstarts of the Battlefield. That's where all the up-and-comers go to get onto the main shows that they be provided.
Nice, nice. Well, you heard it here, folks. If anybody's interested in that, I know I am.
Land of opportunity.
Check them out. I'm going to put the link down in the description below so you can check that out later. And if you're interested, or if you're in the Pennsylvania area, to hit this guy up, and we'll get some contacts going for sure.
That's right.
This type of exposure I wish I had back in the late 90s, early 2000s, but they didn't have stuff like this. It was almost impossible to try and find a professional wrestling school, at least for me it was. And then when I found one that I thought I found, the guy ended up scamming me out of $2,000. So it ended up sucking for me, and I got burnt on it.
There's a lot of punk asses in this business. I'm not going to deny it. And you got to weed through the bushes. But there's a lot in extreme dodgeball, I'll tell you that. So you got to be like a rhino in this business.
They called me the ultimate dodgeball champion back in high school. So,
I've seen a guy that could throw a ball 180 miles an hour, and it was insane. I was watching a girl get her skirt blown off by this guy once.
I mean, damn, you need to show me a clip of that. Send it to me.
I'll send you so many links, you'll be impressed.
There you go. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Nemesis Sessions with the Rhinestone Cowboy. And, man, I'll tell you what, it definitely was a pleasure to have you on here. Any questions for me, Mr. Cowboy?
I don't have it. Well, yeah. When are you going to just have the cowboy on by himself? Because I'm a lot more entertaining than that guy that was on earlier.
Oh
He's
yeah,
more.
I know that guy was
He's
involved.
edgy. He's weird. He's weird. He brings up weird things. He used to wear clown masks. He's a weird guy.
Well, a guy who's so busy like you, what's your open availability next year or next month?
Let me tell you something. As long as I get a little bit of greenbacks, I'll be on here whenever you need.
Gotcha. Well, then I will be in contact with you, and maybe we can set something up where it's just
I like
you.
it.
But you know what I'd love to see is the Rhinestone Cowboy meet some fellow backyard wrestling fans of our friends of mine that are going to their own. They're building their own indie situation. Basically, they're transitioning. It's called IMF. They're transitioning from backyard to indie, and they're all doing it through their own company. And it's very interesting. I'm really good friends with these guys, but I'd like for you to meet them. You think you'd be interested?
Listen here, as long as somebody's hustling somewhere and they're trying to make this cash that's out there in vast amounts, people, you're just not hustling enough. I will meet any hustler any day of the week because that means they're thinking. And without your thinking cap on, you ain't doing diddly shit.
There you go. Hell yeah, you're damn right.
You're damn right, I'm damn right.
Hey, this has been the Nemesis Sessions. My name is the Tyrant King, Taft Taylor, the Nemesis James Taylor, as you might know me in the wrestling world. Stay tuned to 2024 because I will be having a hell of a year that year, and so will the Rhinestone Cowboy. And stay tuned to some future episodes because they're definitely going to be interesting. Cowboy, it's definitely been a pleasure to have you on here.
It
And
absolutely was a good time.
and until then, yes, sir. Yes, that's absolutely true. Guys, you all know it. You're all my fellow operatives. If you haven't, definitely hit the like button and subscribe. Share it all to your friends. Be part of the operative team. And I will catch your asses down the road, and we'll see you in the next one. See ya. And we